All right, prepare to watch the operating system of your life get decompiled in real time. Every stuck thought, every loop of overwork, every sunset that should feel amazing but somehow doesn't, none of it is random. Your brain ships with 6 hidden subroutines, and they are running right now. Spot them once, and tomorrow's problems start looking like predictable glitches instead of personal failures. First routine is the effort paradox. The harder you grip, the faster the task squirts away. Ask an insomniac how badly they want sleep, and you'll understand the joke. Desire itself activates the hypothalamic wake circuits. Functional MRI studies at the University of Zurich show that intentional effort lights up the prefrontal cortex, which then inhibits the very limbic regions required for drift-off. Translation in plain words: forcing sleep keeps the lights on. The same circuitry applies to creativity. When Carnegie Mellon researchers told subjects to be original, output quality dropped 30%. The explicit goal narrowed associative networks. Athletes call it choking. Overactivation of the anterior cingulate cortex disrupts motor sequencing that was previously automated. The brain treats forced effort as an error signal, flooding synapses with glutamate and triggering a partial fight or flight state. Performance plateaus, frustration rises, and the loop feeds itself. The workaround is not laziness, it is directional engagement without vigilance. Set the intention, then drop the binoculars. The nervous system rewards what engineers call open-loop control. Start the process, step aside, let subcortical timers handle the micro-adjustments. Result: the same input now feels different, and the goal quits sprinting over the horizon. Second routine is the control paradox. Expand your plans and the actual influence field shrinks. Psychologists term it the illusion of control, measurable with simple betting games. In one setup at Massachusetts General, participants could adjust a rigged slider that had zero effect on random outcomes. The more tweaks they made, the higher their confidence, and the steeper the eventual loss. fMRI again shows why. Deliberative planning recruits the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which then releases dopamine on the mere expectation of success. The molecule feels earned, so the brain stops updating predictions in real time. Meanwhile, external variance keeps stacking up, turning meticulous roadmaps into frustration grenades. Stoic writers hinted at this 2 millennia ago: dichotomy of control long before statistical process control. Modern epidemiology backs them up. A 15-year Finnish study of 8,500 public sector workers found that people who agreed with statements like, "My hard work guarantees my future health," were 2.3 times more likely to suffer cardiac events when reality diverged from expectation. Control is not unethical, it is just metabolically expensive once it leaves the skin boundary. Focus lands better inside the circle of influence. Sleep minutes logged, words typed, red lights departed early, variables tethered to muscular output. Everything else is weather. Treat it as surf, not clay, and the same wave stops capsizing you. Third routine is the glymphatic reset. While you scroll one more video, cerebrospinal fluid is staging a nightly power wash inside your skull. The glymphatic system, only discovered in 2012, doubles its flow rate during deep NREM sleep. Astrocytes shrink by 60%, opening extracellular highways that flush metabolic junk, including amyloid beta and tau peptides linked to Alzheimer's disease. Rodent data show a single 8-hour blackout removes twice as much waste as a 4-hour nap, and caffeine at even 200 milligrams, one flat white, can delay the cycle by 90 minutes. Human studies at the Danish Center for Sleep Medicine confirm the same math. After 1 week of 5-hour nights, cerebrospinal amyloid levels rise 30%, the neural equivalent of leaving trash in an office corridor. The brain literally makes room before it reboots. Memory consolidation, mood regulation, and next-day glucose control all cue behind this janitorial wave, which is why an all-nighter feels like thinking through syrup. Treat the bedroom like a clean room, cool, dark, screen-free cafe, terminated 6 hours before lights off. The upgrade is invisible but cumulative. Tomorrow's ideas arrive already pre-sorted. Fourth routine is the hedonic treadmill. Lottery headlines insisted jackpot equals lifelong joy, yet longitudinal data tell a flatter story. A landmark 1978 study tracked 22 major prize winners alongside accident-induced paraplegics. Within 12 months, both groups converged to baseline mood, the winners slightly below. The mechanism is called affective adaptation. Dopaminergic neurons spike on novelty, then rescale expectations, so yesterday's gold becomes today's paperweight. Neuroscientists at Bonn University repeated the test with modern fMRI. Ventral striatal activity to a €200 note dropped 30% after the same note was seen only 5 times. The brain is a difference engine, not an absolute meter. Chasing the final upgrade is therefore mathematically rigged. The goalposts move in lockstep. Lasting shifts come from altering the reference frame, not the stimulus stream. Volunteering, learning a skill, or shifting social comparison downward all lengthen the adaptation curve because they replot the baseline itself. Happiness is a byproduct of moving the comparison dot, not the reward dot. Chase meaning and the mood meter follows, often slower but without the retractable cord. Fifth routine is cognitive compression. The brain ships with a built-in reality editor and you cannot uninstall it. Confirmation bias, halo effect, availability heuristic. Over 180 cataloged shortcuts run in parallel to save calories. The same organ that launches satellites also swears that horoscope was spot on. fMRI reveals why. Sensory thalamus delivers 11 million bits per second. Conscious bandwidth processes maybe 50. Compression is mandatory, so the limbic system pre-screens data that align with prior belief, literally seeing what it expects. In 2021, UCLA researchers showed participants a neutral face. Priming one group with the word angry increased amygdala activity by 28%, morphing perception before conscious recognition. The error feels like truth because the hardware offers no checksum warning. Awareness is not deletion, it is annotation. Build a second layer label. Noticed a feeling of certainty, possible confirmation bias. The tag itself widens the appraisal gap between stimulus and response, which is where rational override can board the train. You will still misread reality, but now you own a receipt. Sixth routine is the 90-10 split. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio studied patients with ventromedial prefrontal damage, IQ intact, feeling flat. Place them in a simple choice task, say picking a restaurant, and deliberation time stretches indefinitely. Remove emotional valence and the brain's decision algorithm stalls. Parallel work in consumer psychology shows the same ratio. 90% of buying intention is predicted by affective markers, only 10% by feature lists. The circuitry is serial, not parallel. Orbitofrontal cortex tags each option with a somatic marker, microscopic comfort or discomfort, before dorsolateral prefrontal areas weigh pros and cons. Without the tag, logic spins its wheels. With it, the choice collapses quickly. The takeaway is not to purge emotion, but to curate the tag database. Sleep, nutrition, and stress load all tint the somatic marker ink. A depleted, sleep-starved brain labels risk as bigger and reward as smaller, tilting decisions towards safe inertia. Manage the biology and the math resets itself. Emotions are not the enemy of rationality, they are its accelerant. Just make sure you like the flavor you pour in. Stack these 6 subroutines side by side and the chaotic fog of adult life resolves into repeating lines of code. Insomnia is not a character flaw, it is an open-loop error. Burnout is not heroic dedication, it is a control illusion billing hours to your nervous system. The post-lottery blues are not ungratefulness, they are expected neural accounting. Seeing the code does not rewrite it, but it collapses self-blame. And that alone frees up RAM to observe the next iteration. Watch the patterns tonight, when effort tightens, when control fantasies blossom, when sleep is traded for one more scroll. Label the subroutine in real time. The operating system will not change, yet the user experience already has.